Oh,
So yay. So before I even, open the floor, before I start down a path, you kind of reached out to me. Is there a project you're thinking about or what's going on in your world?
we're at a point we've had challenges for years in hiring our technicians that go out and do the work. Just has been a battle, and knock on wood, we've found a company that helps us with that has been very successful, so that we're actually fully staffed and actually have extra staff. And so we're really now in a position to go after some very significant growth.
Awesome.
We're also expanding our services a little bit, which is going to help. We did also expand our territory. We're working over in the central Missouri area also. So Jeff City, Columbia, the Lake, that area. We got a couple people over there. No salesperson yet. We're looking to hire a couple of salespeople. But thought our challenge still is on the sales side is trying to get into, I guess I would say, industrial type accounts. Restaurants, we do a bunch of restaurants, but they're pretty easy to get into. You don't have the gatekeeper situation and everything with them. We do a lot of convenience stores, but our real opportunity is to get into these industrial manufacturing, car dealers, larger accounts where there is a gatekeeper to get through. And so we got talking about that, and you came to mind right away as to a potential solution to help with that. I can't remember the details. I can't remember what I had for breakfast, and so I thought we'd reach out and kind of have you review your programs with that in mind. That we're looking for places that's probably going to have I don't know, you get into manufacturing, like a machine shop or something, and they've got 30, 35 employees or so. That's a reasonable one for us to go after. Or bigger, right? But on the small size, that's probably, like the minimum of what we would want to be targeting to get in, so that they're decent sized accounts for us.
Okay, great.
Devin, anything?
No, he covered it. I think, restaurants have been our bread and butter for 10 years, and they're just easier to get into. Doing sales so long, it's obviously getting into the industrial piece of it. There's always that gatekeeper. And unless the business that I've gotten on that side has been through connections and other companies that are already in there. And so that's how I've pieced that portion together and gotten some of that business. Other than that, not much success at all. You always look for the back door or try to get somebody sitting out at the picnic table and, all those fun games. But just the true going in and trying to find those customers cold call, it just doesn't work.
Okay.
All right. One other thing, I guess, just to keep in mind is, these places don't even know who we are. They don't even know really a service like ours really even exists, is kind of an added challenge. So like the social media, the new approach that a lot of companies are doing, right, to rather than cold calling, using the digital marketing one way or another. The problem we have is, Google, no one's searching for what we do. We have to get in and educate them on what we do, what the value is. Realistically, if we can get in there and get them in the restroom and show them the issues that they have no idea, they get on board pretty quickly, but it's getting over that hurdle of, gee, I've never even heard of that. I've already got people cleaning. Why do I need somebody else to come in and clean my restrooms when I'm paying a janitorial company and yada, yada, yada.
Right.
Those are the challenges. But once we get in, they're very successful at, getting a good percentage to come on board. I think we'll have, not that our service isn't that expensive that budget is usually too much of an issue, but there could be bigger ones, where, we're going to run into a timing issue of, well, yeah, I love it, but we're going to have to put that in the budget for next year, but that's okay. We need accounts next year too. So.
Yeah. Right. Now you mentioned other offerings. You've expanded your offerings. What's new? What's your new services?
One of them is basically cleaning dumpster areas, at like restaurants or any place that has, grease or whatever, to go out and we have heated pressure washers, specific equipment to go out and clean those areas. Kitchen scrubs, like in restaurants. Again, this is another area specifically, but could be other areas, like auto dealers and stuff like that. The again, the heated pressure washer allows us to effectively clean grease, whether it's food grease or auto grease or whatever oils, very effectively. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying, on the outside the restaurant world, you got the showroom floors for car dealerships and areas that people want to keep pristine and look nice when customers are in there. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And on the dumpster side, we call it a dumpster refresh service is what they call that. Just so you know.
Okay.
We got another one that they're just rolling out. We really haven't started it yet. And it's actually a window washing, but it's a window, what do they call it? Region.
I haven't heard
Basically, it's using a special cleaner that actually removes the oxidation and stuff that happens on windows. So it's not just originally, it's a very kind of a little time-consuming thing to get rid of everything that's actually on the glass and then maintaining it, and then periodically that has to be redone in order to really keep them the way they're supposed to be. I think they're going to be rolling that out in about the 1st of February. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So in these okay, if it's okay, let me ask a few questions before I tell you about what I do, just so I can help go down the right path. So, what in these other arenas are you doing? How do you get new business now? You said you kind of pop up, look for them on the picnic table. Are you doing anything else centralized, like emailing or direct mail or anything like that?
We have automated emails that go out from a program that we use currently. I think
Awesome.
once a month, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes a couple times. Like if it's fruit fly season, we might have say a drain treatment or something that goes out a couple times that month for a specific season that we're targeting. But I'd say once a month on average, probably, that we're just getting something sent out from that.
Most of that is going to existing customers.
Yes.
I think anything that you put in, if he goes and meets with someone and they don't purchase right away,
Yeah.
they stay on that email, but it's not really anything at this point where it's, adding 5,000 emails per prospects and emailing to prospects, really.
New business currently is myself from a new sales side, cold calling, running. I do have a guy that tries to set up probably 5 appointments a week for me currently. He's out of Texas that makes some calls for me. Other than that, on the existing side, we have a customer grow representative that goes out, our development rep, and he does a lot of upsells, QCs, checking on customers, making sure quality's there. That's the way we're set up currently.
So the gentleman cold calling for you, is he doing restaurant work or industrial?
But he's not successful at all on the restaurant side.
Sorry, industrial.
Or I mean industrial, sorry.
Yeah, he's not successful.
He only calls what he's comfortable at getting, and the industrial manufacturing takes more work and it's a longer cycle. So it's not in his wheelhouse.
He calls for the franchisor has a telemarketing inside sales, they call it, and he works for them. And so he's, if he gets into a chain of, restaurants, or, it might be a tire store, or something that somebody gets in, he uses that, and then he calls in all the other markets, to leverage that, which is smart, to say, hey,
Right.
We're doing this in Charlotte, we're doing it in Tampa, we're doing it in Houston. We'd like to come and talk to you about it also. And so, yeah, they're kind of the easier ones typically that, is a lot of his appointments.
Okay. And you guys have a CRM, right?
Somewhat.
Yeah,
Okay.
A true CRM, no.
Okay.
The corporate is looking at new software now, but that's going to be a year and a half before it
Okay.
will be deployed.
We like ours. We can always dial into yours, but right now, I'm almost happy you don't, because we go faster in our own CRM and all that. So, okay. I think I am duly armed to tell you a little bit about us. I'm going to screen share. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. All righty. All right. So this is my circle of services in the commercial realm.
Oh, here it comes. All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
They're all separate. They can be separate services of ours, but they also flow together. So the first one's list. So we do supply a list for every campaign. So you'll have complete input on the type of company, the industry type, where they sit. I'll go by the list and I will share it with you. So it's a nice value add. Sometimes that thing costs you $1,000. So we'll get you that list. But in addition to that, I do like to mention that, we can use any list you have, or, we want to become your sales assistants. If you guys are driving around and you see a building you want to get into, snap a picture of it, send me a text, send it over. We'll add it to your database and work it. Same if you go to a networking event or a chamber event or anything like that. We have a lot of ideas, we salespeople, of I should call them someday. And now we want to make it really easy that you can just shoot that over and we can get working it for you. So that's Liz. Data collection, this is exactly what it says, data cleansing. It doesn't really fit what you're talking about, but just so you know, this would be if you wanted to do a direct mailer. If you said, hey, Patricia, call through these manufacturers, just get the name of the facility manager. We want to do a mailer to them, and then we'll take it from there. Or, just gather the emails, and we'll take it from there. So it's usually receptionist. It's usually information that we get at the receptionist level. One call, two call through type work. It has its place. So data collection. One of the main things we're talking about, though, is appointment setting. So in appointment setting, we're going to call and introduce ourselves as being with your organization. We get the right person on the phone. If they ask for information, we do keep your letterhead on file and do a one-page mailer. And it is crazy how often those letters get attention these days. I think, 10 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, when the pendulum swung to email, it was all about emailing. But now no one gets a letter. So if they ask for information, we send a nice letter with your business card. They get popped in a bid folder. We know in large part it's a stall tactic, but it gives us a reason to call back the next week too. So if they ask for information, we'll handle it and send it. But our goal in this is to get you that audience with your prospect. Now, our appointments come with a lot of good information. Phonetic spelling is the first thing. You have to know if you're asking for Jim, Stroop, or Stroopy when you walk in. We're going to get you titles. That second paragraph is everything that we would get off the original list. So you don't verify that line by line. We don't want to be a survey, but we give you everything back so you have a nice snapshot of this client. The third paragraph down, we're going to confirm every appointment either by letter or phone call. On every call, we're going to be asking for emails. We're going to prioritize an A, B, and C format. In your instance, an A could be, or it could be a number of restrooms or number of commodes themselves. That's sometimes an indicator. And then all this information at the top, it's not just on your appointment sheet, but we will keep it in digital format that's sortable and exportable to you. The program I use is ACT. Are you familiar with ACT?
Yeah, from a long time ago.
Yeah, it's been around. That's when I started using it too. So yeah, it's they've actually updated. They're online and all fancy like the rest of them. But the good thing with the CRMs is everything's importable and exportable through Excel, type formats, spreadsheet type formats. So we can always get you your data, and all the data we gather, you own. So at any time you can say, hey, send me everything, or every month, send us the emails you're collecting. We're going to start an email campaign, or let me know the A's you've identified. We'll pop in over there. So a lot of what we do is start gathering this data that for other marketing campaigns you might not even be doing yet, but when you're ready to do them, you have all the information there. There's also a note section on every appointment sheet. My people are seasoned sales reps right here in St. Louis, Missouri. It's fun. You can come see us. We do use bullets instead of scripts. So we're very conversational in style, and I think that's why people talk to us. We'll get as much information as we can, including sometimes if they're so direct that we couldn't get any. That'll let you know to go in pretty direct. But we do everything we can to arm you for that appointment. Any questions about the appointment sheet itself?
You said real quick on the seasoned sales reps that are here currently in St. Louis, how many do you have?
We currently have 27 people and room for about twice that.
Okay.
Got a brand new building I'm looking to fill up.
And then real quick, jumping back a little bit, you said when you call into those places, you get on the phone with the right people. How do you do that?
Well, we ask, in industrial, I would imagine it's probably the facility manager. I would guess that's probably where we would start.
Yeah.
I would go by your direction. If you say, oh no, you got to go for a different title. But a lot of times we just ask the receptionist, hey, who would be responsible for this? All the lists, including mine, we can get various titles, but after owner, they're just not right. Even the new Zoom info, all the new fangled stuff, it's just really hard to keep up with everybody's title in this time and space. The easiest way we found is to call and just say, hey, I was wondering if you can help me. I'm trying to get the name of the person. And if we're nice, most of the time, the receptionists are nice too.
Okay. Have you noticed you're more successful if you have that name going into that call and asking for them directly? They just put you straight through instead of having to go through the channels of finding out who it is?
Well, sometimes if it's a wrong name, it hurts us. If they say, they've been gone 3 years, click. So, it's about 50-50. I usually don't ask for the names. Now we do have our tricks of the trade. If we can't get a name or things like that, we'll pop around on LinkedIn or me and Ty, either get the facility manager or even somebody else. Like we joke, salespeople, and we're all salespeople too, but we'll talk to anyone, right? If we ask for a salesperson in a building and we go, oh, I hear you're the person that would be responsible for, keeping the bathrooms beautiful, they'll say, oh no, that's Jim Smith in facilities. Because sales will tell you everybody's name, so we use some of those tricks too. So sometimes we don't even ask for that person, we'll ask for the sales department.
Absolutely.
And we get more information that way. So we find our ways in, but if the receptionist doesn't give us information, we do have other ways to find it.
That's funny on the sales part because they will.
They will. It's so funny. They'll tell us everything. And another thing is, in our CRM, there's a place for website. We can click on it as we have it, and it just pops right up in the CRM. But it's funny. A receptionist will say, we don't give out names. You go on their website, there's full bios. Like facility manager has 5 kids and he's a cancer survivor. And you're like, oh my gosh. I mean, you want to give us your name. So, we do that too. So, we're kind of the private eyes and getting the names, and we have several ways to do it. So great. Any other questions about the appointment sheets?
Nope.
No.
So there's there's things that I think we're doing that we weren't doing the last time we talked together. So if the last thing about appointments, a lot to go over, is that if you give us the domain name email, so like pcowan@em-stl.com, as we're working, we sprinkle out individual emails on your behalf. So if a receptionist says you need to talk to Mitch in facilities, he's not in, here's his email, we can have one ready saying, hey, sorry we missed you. This is what we offer. We'll call to connect next week. If we speak to a contact and they decline an appointment, similarly, we send one saying, hey, thanks for the conversation. Again, here's our contact information. We'd love to help you ensure the health and happiness of your staff this season. So those, again, can't be unsubscribed from. All of our agents have double screens, so it's very easy for them just to forward an email, but it is an option, if that's something that you'd like us to do. Another thing that we're offering is, as we're working with every name we gather, if you'd like us to get on your LinkedIn and send them a LinkedIn request. So what that looks like is, basically if we gather an email, we can send an email. If we gather a name, we can send a LinkedIn request.
Mm-hmm.
And again, these are options, but that way you're getting more market exposure with almost every little bit of data we collect. Absolutely. So those are things that we can do too. And then several years ago, I used the DISC assessments. Are you familiar with the DISC or like Myers-Briggs? Oh yeah, I love DISC. I always use it as a training tool for my reps because it says you're this personality type and you have to change a little to sell to these, but it's supposed to, but over the years, I've got 23 years of data now. And I found out that while everybody that makes it here has to test as a strong cold caller, there's a subset of people that would have higher job satisfaction if they could call the same people repeatedly. So I kind of had the people on the bus already, as they say. So I kicked off my inside sales department. So the rest of these bullets are all my inside folks, my rapport builders. So when they hit the door now, we test them and separate training tracks and all that. My hunters are the ones for the appointments and the data collection, but my cultivators offer a big part of this too. So what that can look like, the first step is cultivation. If you go on an appointment and they're a perfect building for you and you say, Patricia, they said it's not in the budget, maybe give them a call next year. Please have my inside rep, just call them every couple months, make sure they don't forget us. And that's basically what we do. This is Patricia with Enviromaster. Devin just wanted me to touch base, find out how your winter's going, et cetera. And, it's not really a hard pitch. We can say, hey, if you're probably having problems with flu season, we can help with some of that. But it isn't really a hard pitch. It's more a just, again, help them remember you type function. And that goes over to client retention, where we can upsell, cross-sell, work your inactive list, especially with some of these new services you're offering. We can, let them know you're doing this, the new stuff, and inactive clients. And we can get all of them, your current clients and inactives in the same type of rotation of calling them about every 3 months, just to make sure everything's going okay, the service is what you want it to be and all that. And then the last thing that we offer, trade show support. If you guys ever pop a table up, exhibit at like a regional manufacturing show, we could work the booth for you, but at the very least, we could take those leads, call through, find out who's real, move the valid ones into your database and work them as well. So we're always, we're known for appointments, but we are really full service inside sales. Of course we do charge for all these fabulous things that we offer. So my hourly rate is $69 an hour now, and I sell my time as little as 6 hours per week for a quarter. So, and I'm sorry, I'm a little scratchy. I am fighting a cold. I keep drinking my lemon water, but I apologize. I know I sound a little bit like not well, but with the 3-month contract, there's no list fee, there's no setup fee, there's no chargebacks for anything. I keep it pretty clean.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of that sickness stuff going around, man. I mean, and he was kind of half-ass sick for almost 3 weeks.
It was a long time. I almost thought I ended up with pneumonia. It wasn't pretty. My whole family got it. It was I have 3 kids, my wife and I. It was brutal.
Yeah, my husband. we've been down since the Friday after Thanksgiving. And again, it's just, but mine hasn't been serious, just kind of runny nose. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm eating as I can. I stay away from my staff. We're all pretty cloistered away. You know, I don't want anybody else sick. But so
Yeah.
anyway, sorry for the scratchy.
With well, I hope you feel better first.
Thanks.
With our type of business, how much experience do you have? We're unique, so it's not going to be direct, but in our industry, is it something you feel like you could be successful with helping us?
Yes. I mean, we do a lot. Well, first of all, we call it the facility managers for so many things. For janitorial, I know you're not janitorial. I'm just saying we do call it for janitorial. We, you know, for all kinds of things, vending. So getting to that person is right up our alley. You know, the one thing that I'd like to really brainstorm about, though, when we with you guys to make a successful campaign is the list. You know, I want to make sure, like when we talk about manufacturers and industrial, I'd like to really try to find ones that are all like more health oriented, like food manufacturers or healthcare items. I want to make sure that they're an industry that cares about the cleanliness is the big deal. That would be my input. I worry with a general manufacturing list that they don't care as much. I don't know how to say it. I worry that the guys in the back just aren't worried about, you know, we've all been in the back of a warehouse's bathroom. It's not the focal point of their business, you know? So, you know, obviously the front rooms and I mean, you know, the bathrooms for clients and whatnot, but you know, when we work on the list, that would be my biggest input on making this successful is really trying to think who's going to care about what we're calling about. I think car dealerships are fabulous. I think there's a ton of input in industrial, both warehousing and manufacturing. I just think we got to find some of the better niches. And yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, I think that would really help the industrial be more successful.
Yeah, I feel like from experience when I've gotten into industrial manufacturing, like Warren said previous, they just don't know who we are. They don't really know we exist and that service is out there. So when they can find out the difference in the value of the service, what they're getting for the price, I mean, it's depending on the service, it's almost a wash on one where you're spending your net dollars on, you know, an every 4-week service for the floors and walls and everything. So when you really get the right person, you get to explain it. Honestly, it's a no-brainer.
It is a no-brainer. I think your price point is so fair. And, you know, and it's funny. I mean, you know, not to completely, you know, schmooze you guys, but since I've become aware of EnviroMaster, I promise you, any bathroom I've ever gone in nationwide for all my travels, I do 12 trade shows a year. If I go in a bathroom and it's really pretty, I see an EnviroMaster sticker. And there's never a time where I don't go tell that manager, hey, I want you to know as a consumer that matters to me. Those dollars, I see it, I experience it, and I really value the fact that you hire EnviroMaster. It is just head and shoulders above a bathroom in any other type of facility.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, it's the truth. So yeah, I think we need, if we get the messaging right and the list right, I believe in what you do. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially early on, you know, the more targeted we could be to get more and more of those customers to use then as references to the other ones, because you know, we haven't done a lot of it, but when but some of them, boy, they're horrible. You get into these machine shops and stuff like that. I mean, they're like auto repair places. I mean, those bathrooms in the back especially end up being really bad. But once we go in and really clean them up, I mean, they are very appreciative that they are cleaner. You know, the employees really appreciate it, right? You know,
of course. Oh my gosh. And yeah, you know, I think it gives you a whole other feeling about the business you're working for.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's a big deal. I mean, I agree with you. I do. I think that there's a lot of fit, and I think you're right. Once you get in there and make it awesome, there's no going back. Right?
No, yeah, there's a value for sure. And then I think too, when you get in those big accounts like that, you know, I bring it up at the very end, obviously, because there's a value to the actual service itself. But when the amount of money they spend on soap air freshener and urinal screens, and we give that for free. It blows their mind, especially with what costs are in today's world. Probably so alone would pay for our weekly service. So that's the piece that when you can really get to the right person and have the conversation, that's why it's with the value there. And then knowing that there's the 3 free products, that's when there's a no-brainer.
Yeah. What about, and again, I'm just brainstorming. I'm not trying to knock you off your plan. What about public administration, fire departments? I mean, again, I'm trying to think of people that, that care, right? And have money for this.
All about right.
Disinfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think you can get into talk to the right person. I think in today's world after COVID and everything, in some of these places, it's not only the facility manager as a potential. I think it's if they have anybody on the safety side, health and safety, big enough that, because that really is the ultimate goal, right? For our service is to really significantly change the health and safety in their whole environment, because the restroom it's the point where really everything starts, right? The germs and viruses end up getting taken out of there and spread around the facility. And so I think people do look at that a little bit differently than they used to. And I think that health and safety person, can certainly have input towards this. The facility manager is certainly going to be involved, but I think it's 2 avenues that we have to go at, and maybe see one might be better than the other, right? We may find that, if they're big enough to have a health and safety person, we're a lot more successful getting in talking to them than we are the facility manager, or vice versa. But yeah, it has changed. And one other, towards Devin's point on the economy of this, it's not unusual for him to sit there and give them a price, but before he gives them a price, ask them what they think it costs, or he gives them a price, and if they got 2 restrooms, they'll say, so that's the cost per restroom. And it's like going, no, that's for both, and they're usually pretty shocked at the price, not even taking into the account the offsetting things. They're just like, wow, I can't believe you're going to come in, for $100 a week and do this. They were thinking $200, $300 a week, and our price is $100. They're pretty surprised most of the time.
Yeah, and now's the season too. We've all been through this now, colds and flu 2021. We know it's all coming, right? So not only do you have to keep it clean, but you have to give the impression to your clients, employees that it is clean. That's a big thing, is the head game, right? We're all trying to get over the head game. So
they spend so much money for the sign outside their door, and invest the money into the brand. What do you want? What do you want your customers to think when you open up that door, especially when you open the restrooms? That's a huge piece to the business in itself. And so when you open the door, what do you want your customers to think? What kind of feeling do you want them to get? And when you spend that kind of money, do you want to have them walk in and it looks like crap and it stinks and it's not a good representation of the brand? Or do you want them to be like, wow, these people care, and they care about us because they're investing dollars into this?
Right.
So and there's a lot of different avenues. You got property management companies.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You've got, depending on the properties that they're representing, there's so many. We've been in business 10 years, and I can tell you, majority of people still don't know. People know we're around because we're in a lot of places. We haven't touched the surface. It's been me. I'm trying to hire 2 salespeople right now, and we're going to make a huge push here in the next couple of years for significant growth. And that's why we're on the phone with you to help us, make that goal happen. And so when I find the right 2 people, it's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen, but there's so much potential. It's ridiculous.
So much medical, urgent care. Like you said, the property managers for these big medical buildings, it goes, on and on. I guess on and on. So when we start, guys.
And I'll tell you, the one thing is, I've been looking myself, and I haven't found the right one. The biggest complaint when I'm in these businesses, and it's 100% of the time, 10 out of 10 times when I'm in these places, their biggest complaint is on the janitorial. I have not found one janitorial company that I walk in and they're like, we absolutely love our janitorial company. So the reason for that is they have so many items under their scope of work that they do, they can't do 100% on everything. The biggest one they lack the most is bathrooms. You said you represent certain janitorial companies. If you have one that you think is really good, when you pair the two of us together and you go into a client together saying, this is how you get 100%, that's how they grow and we grow, because you get best of both worlds. It's like janitorial or rug and uniform companies. We run into Centos a little bit because they do what's called a squirt and suck in the bathroom. They squirt solution on the floor and suck it up. They call it a no-touch system. Well, how do you get something clean if you're not actually touching it? So they're not good at what they're a uniform and rug company. And so when I have that conversation with clients, it makes 100% sense. And they switch to me in a heartbeat. It's not competition at all. So it's just like the janitorial side. Let us work with somebody to where they're getting 100+% of their needs met, because they're using a company that sticks to their core and they do what they do right. And so that's why if you have somebody to bring to the table on that, it would help you and it would help us.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, you never find anybody that's happy with their janitorial. Never. In 10 years have I had anyone tell me they're happy with their janitorial company.
Well, and now the staffing issues, they're not even showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big push on the janitorial companies we're calling for now is, our rebuttal is, well, we know you have a company, but hey, next week they might not show up. You better have a second one in your pocket. So, having a company that they know is rock solid, fully staffed, that no matter what, the bathrooms are going to be sparkling. That's another selling point right there. It's awesome.
Okay. Well, full transparency, we do have another company that we're talking to
Tomorrow.
Okay.
So I would say we'll probably
by the end of the week.
End of the week, early next week, we'll be able to get back to you and let you know where we're at, what we're doing. But I think we're going to try something for sure. And I like your program. I mean, and Charlie speaks very well of you, and I won't hold that against you. But
I do like what you had to say. I appreciate it. The information was very helpful, and I needed a refresh because it had been so long since last time we talked to you. But I'm happy for you. It seems like you're doing well. And congrats on the new facility, and hopefully we'll fill that up soon.
Where you at?
We're South County behind Best Buy by South County Mall.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I can shoot you guys over a proposal. Should it just go to you, Warren, or do you want it to go to both of you?
Either if you send it to me, I'll forward him, or you can send it to both of us. He's just Devin L, DEVINL at the EM.
You don't have like a 7, 8, 9, 10,000 square foot attached to your building that you're looking to lease, or
warehouse, office.
No.
We're gonna have to find a place to. We're gonna outgrow this very soon.
Hey, may I ask who you're talking to tomorrow?
Abstract.
Okay. I wondered if it was them. We're up against them a lot. So just so you know, their program is much more robust. And if you want other things, direct mail, email campaigns, I can definitely coordinate that as well. So please don't knock me out because of things like that you think we might not do. We certainly can. I just don't bundle it like they do.
Right.
So,
well, I'm sure the more you bundle, the higher the prices. So I'm sure that's what we'll see. It's probably more expensive.
They're a valued competitor. I'll leave it at that. So, so when should I follow up with you guys?
I would say, a Monday's probably fair.
Okay. Do you want to actually set a proposal review so we don't play phone tag, or do we just give you a call on Monday?
I think just a call. Yeah. I think it's fine. Yeah. So,
all right. Well, I'll give you a ring. Any other questions?
I don't think so. I think looks good. And yeah, we'll, if we don't talk to you sooner, we'll talk to you on Monday.
Perfect. Thanks so much for reaching out, guys. It was nice to catch up.
You too.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, see ya.
Bye.